Hello, everybody, and welcome to Girl Let's Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Jessica Milagros, and I'm with my co host, Busy Blue, and we're here with the latest evicted house guest, Red. How are you feeling right now?
I'm actually feeling pretty good, all things considered. I mean, it's the day after my eviction, so there's definitely some mixed emotions about that. But ultimately, I get to go home and see my family, so feeling pretty good.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Happy
Thank you,
belated.
thank you.
What I have a question though. What's an accoutrement?
I know, right? That's a.
Is that a is that a charcuterie board? I don't know because I call charcuterie boards coochie boards. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm trying to, is that what it is?
Well, I think
No.
it's things that accompany a meal, and a
Yes.
accoutrement
Wait,
is,
that's an
I believe,
actual
would be the
word?
right word. But
Yes, Jess.
accoutrement sounds like something totally different. Yeah, I think that's just the country coming out at me, and when I said that. So
Your eviction speech, it was very plain and simple, very to the point. It almost sounded like you knew you were leaving. Did you know about this flip? Did you know you kind of had an idea kind of at the end, but how did that all come about?
honestly, just in watching people and watching their manner, you get a certain amount of intuition in the way that people are acting around you, especially on that day of. There were a lot of conversations going on that I weren't a part of, that people that I was aligned with, like Bowie Jane, wasn't a part of, and whispers that shouldn't have been happening when I was being told it was so straightforward. So ultimately, my speech pretty much was me saying, "Hey, no matter what happens, I'm okay." And I love you humans. You know, I really wanted them to know that regardless of what happened, because I felt that that's what was happening, that I was okay with it.
The speech somewhat felt like you gave up, and it was just like, "Hey, I've been told not to say anything, so I'm done." Do you think if you can do it all over again, you would say something different?
No, and the reason I selected that quote was honestly because I felt that if I said more, it may seem arrogant and like I felt like I was staying. So really, I felt like less was more in that moment, and anything that I said would have been more embarrassing if I felt, or if I said something like, you know, "I love you guys. I really want to keep playing," and felt like I was threatened. I felt like it would have seemed more arrogant, or that I wasn't threatened, that it would have seemed like more arrogance, and I definitely didn't want to give off that air.
You said to Julie that the person you were most betrayed by was it Cam? Was it and Felicia?
Mm-hmm.
But we've watched feeds and we've seen that that you were very very close to Saria. Like there was this admiration for her. You even said at one point that you would give up almost like your own game to make sure that she made it. Why were you not most uh just betrayed by her? And what was it about the Siri missed?
Well, in post eviction, I feel like my betrayal level was mostly from her because I felt so close to her. With the Cam thing, and when I was asked, you only know what you know until you know. So I had no idea in that moment that what was said. I won't say I had no idea. I did have an inclination, and I did want to talk with him had I moved forward past HOH, because that's what I discussed with Jared. And that's why I didn't have that conversation, because on a handshake, I told him I wouldn't. But ultimately, I don't feel betrayed by Cam anymore, obviously. And Sari is definitely that number one position. Felicia, I don't know that I'd call it betrayal as much as she was just got a little sloppy there toward the end, I think, or that was my point of view. And I felt like she was a little bit of everywhere.
What was you and Kim had the bromance that we love to see. And it seemed like it was just one person saying one thing and it switched off. What made that connection that what we saw be so strong switch so quickly?
Well, and it wasn't necessarily just one thing. So Jared came to me with what was said. There were conversations about what Cam was saying to America and other people in the house, and also people that Jared was aligned with, unbeknownst to me, were reinforcing those ideas in a sense. So, in this game in Big Brother, it doesn't take much because you expect the seed. You expect people to lie to you and stab you in the back, and that. So it really don't take much of a seed to grow a whole ass tree. To be
Mm.
honest.
No, or do you know that Cam won HOH? Were you aware?
I am, and I'm so tickled with the guy. I really hope he continues on that path and keeps moving forward. I'd love to see the guy go all the way to the end.
Who do you think he's going to put up, or who do you want him to put up?
Izzy. I'd love to see him go ahead and get Izzy out of there. I think she's a major player at this point. I know most people would expect me to say Cirie, but I think that time will come. But Izzy, I think, is the most dangerous to Cam's gameplay.
Are you going to be watching the rest of the season? Sometimes it's a little hard, with people coming right out. We feel a little certain way coming out of the house, but are you going to be watching the season? You're going to be watching feeds?
Absolutely. I feel nothing but love coming out of that house, even with what's going on. Like I said, it is Big Brother. It's to be expected. So no hard feelings whatsoever. And I will be watching every moment and rooting for my favorite house guests. So.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Red. We wish you all the best of luck. If you are going to be watching and you ever want to recap with Bizzy and I, feel free. You're always welcome. We would love to continue the conversation with you.
Absolutely. Sounds good.